Hey everybody, this is Susan Kohanek, and I am going to do just a very brief overview of my lesson plan project for ITEC 7430. The lesson that I'm going to give the overview of is the literacy narrative. So basically, my students are reading the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. In a couple of the chapters, he talks about how he learned to read and write. And so I use that as a springboard for my students to write their own literacy narratives. Nearpod is the first technology tool that I use because it basically houses all of my other tools. So as you can see, when I'm in Nearpod, I can pick this lesson. I can do it as a live lesson, but that means that I cast the lesson to all of their devices and that I lead the lesson. And that's not my preference. So I prefer student paced, where they can access everything with a code, and they'll have access to it for 30 days before it will go away. So as a quick preview, Nearpod is just really cool because you create slides. And within your slides, you can add collaboration boards, you can upload PDFs, you can link videos, you can do 3D. I mean, there's just a bunch of different options. This particular assignment asked my students to write a literacy narrative, which is personal narrative, and then to create a digital literacy narrative, which is generally going to be a video. So as they're clicking through their Nearpod lesson, they'll see all their instructions, which is what these slides are. And then I will also make sure that they have all the reading materials that they need, which they can print, they can download, they can do whatever they need. And so I've got all these different how I learned to read and write pieces by all of these different writers. And then I have a video page where I've grabbed some short videos and included them in Nearpod for the students to watch. An interview with Sherman Alexie, a literacy commercial, sort of a PSA, and then some sample videos from YouTube, digital literacy narratives, an interview with Amy Tam. And then I include an Edpuzzle, and this is the second tool that they really use. And when they click here, they go into Edpuzzle and they see this video that I've grabbed from YouTube, and then I've embedded questions. So they watch the video and answer the questions while they're watching. They can rewind, but they cannot fast forward. And then I will have access to their answers. So once they do that, and they can do this at their own pace, like I said, so they could do the video first or they could do it last. It doesn't really matter. I'll just make sure that they all have a deadline that they need to have it done by. And then I give them their directions. I give them the rubrics for the assignment. And then I give them a sample of a literacy narrative that I created using Adobe Spark. And they watch mine sort of as a model for what they might do. And then at the end of it all, they can actually post their digital literacy narratives or their written ones to the Digital Archive of Literacy Narratives, which is this website. But if they're under the age of 18, they have to have parent permission. So overall, my biggest challenge right now is dealing with data governance, because my county every day is updating the list of technology tools and what kids can and cannot use. So Edpuzzle and Adobe Spark require them to create generic accounts. So it's doable. It just requires a little bit more work on the teacher's end. I use this essay assignment as an opportunity to work on style and voice. So I use these two tools, I Say and the Hemingway app, as a way for them to get a visual of different types of sentences, and so that they can vary their writing style. And then in terms of what I'd like to do in the future, I'd like to continue to diversify my reading list. I have African American, Chinese American, and Native American, but I want to keep adding and expanding my writers. And then in the future, perhaps next year when I do this lesson again, I want to add a research component, maybe turn it into a project-based or a problem-based literacy assignment where they look at illiteracy in the world, the country, the state, and their own school district, and then brainstorm ways to address that, like holding a book drive, reading at elementary schools and middle schools, holding book talks, and maybe making book trailers, and participating in this digital storytelling to encourage kids at other schools to read. And that is an overview of my lesson. Thank you very much.